Hi, I'm Oyendrila and I am an expert in full stack. In this video, we are going to see how to create a Node project using VS Code. In the previous videos, we saw how do you create a repository on GitHub and link the same repository to your VS Code. After that, we saw how do you use VS Code as an editor. So before we jump on to creating a Node project on VS Code, let us go to our Extensions tab and try to download an extension for Node. So here you have a lot of options. Let us go to the second one, which says Node Snippets. Once you install this, you will be able to run your Node codes on your Visual Studio. If you are not fond of extensions, let us go to our internet and try to download Node as a package. Download Node.js for Windows. This would take you to the official website of Node.js. Ideally, whenever you are trying to download a software, I would suggest that go for an LTS version which says long-term support. Every time there is a new version that is updated in the market, you would have some support for the version. You would also have a community that would support you in answering your questions that you have with this particular version. So when you scroll down, you will be able to see the different operating systems available, and depending on your operating system, you would download your MSI file, which is an installable file. Once this is installed, open VS Code, go to the Explorer and open a folder. Here on the welcome page, you will have an option which says open a folder. I already have a development folder created, and inside the development folder I have Node projects, and I would like to create a new folder here, and let me name it as second project. You can see that in Explorer you have the second project loaded. If you click on the drop down, there is nothing inside the folder, so this is empty. Here you have a few options. The first one says add a new file. Let us click on this and name it as index.js. Okay. Now before we start adding code to our file, let us go to view and let us go to output. Or we can simply press Ctrl Shift and the backtick character. So you have the terminal open here. First and foremost thing before we start with the Node project is to check the version of Node installed on your system. So I am already inside Node projects and second project. Make sure whenever you are starting with file creation, you are inside the project where you want to create your Node files. So I would first of all check the version of Node on my system, which is Node-V. It says 16.14.2. This is the Node version that I have on my system. Next important thing is installing npm, which stands for Node Package Manager. It is very similar to the libraries that you use in a lot of object-oriented programming languages. So let me first of all write this command npm init. It would initialize the npm installation. Once you hit enter, it will keep on asking you what should your package name be. I would just go on clicking enter and I would give it the default values that it is displaying in front of me. Package name is second project, version is 1.0.0, description is second project, entry point is index.js. Why index.js? Ideally, whenever I create an HTML project or a React or a Node project, my entry point is always index.html or index.js. Test command would be node index.js because I have a single file and I would try to run the same file. Git repository for now, I do not want to upload this on Git, and keywords would just be Node. Author is myself, and license, and if all the configurations are okay, just type yes and go ahead. There is a small change in my folder. I have a package.json file added to my folder. If you open the file, you would be able to see the name of my project, the version of my project, the description, the entry point or the main file which is index.js, the scripts, the keywords, and author and license. Now this is what happens when I use the command npm init. Now let us install npm, and the command for that is npm install. Once you hit enter, it starts installing all the packages, and you see one more file which is package.log.json added to your folder. This particular file would have the versions of your project, right? Now let us try to add a small line of code to my file. I'll simply write down a small JavaScript code which is console.log, and I would display this particular line. This is a normal JavaScript code. Since we have not yet dived into JavaScript, I have just written one line which says console.log welcome to Node. The command for running a particular file is node space index.js. And here you would be able to see the output which says welcome to Node. Let us go through what we have learned in this video. We have learned how do you download and install Node, how do you install npm, and how do you create a simple JS file and run it using the command node index.js. That's all for this video. I would see you guys in the next video.